in my late teens. My sister was 2.5 years younger than me. I was a hippie and raced cars in my late teens. I had to move to Canada to race them, but I lived in Buffalo, New York. Anyway, my daughter was a president of student council, honor society member, captain of the cheerleaders, and let's just say I was not. Uh, at any rate, we had a big Colony Park station, a lot of people, a lot of kids, and it was my parents' car. And because my sister was 15, 16, and 17 during the time that I was 17, 18, 19, uh, my parents designated me as the driver. And so I spent a good time of my 16, 17, 18, 19, even 20 years old, driving around my sister and her cheerleaders from her school um, everywhere. I was apparently the one that everybody wanted to drive. I was racing cars, so I knew how to drive. We had the biggest vehicle of anybody. Vans weren't big back then, or SUVs didn't exist. The biggest thing you had in normal homes was a station wagon, and this was a big station wagon. So anyway, um, I spent these years, and I was long-haired, and I was 6 feet tall, 160 pounds, so I certainly wasn't a heavyset kid or nothing. And I was interesting, I was smart, but I spent these years, these very formative years for a teenage boy, driving these the hottest girls in my high school around, and spent most of my time listening to them dissing the top athletes in the school, making fun of them, telling how much they didn't like them, telling how much of the jerks they were. Um, this cramped my ability to date because well, I was a shy guy anyway at that time. Things have changed. And I kind of was very oriented. So at any rate, let's fast forward about, I'm going to say, I'm 24. I'm hanging out at the University of Buffalo campus, which I did often. I didn't go to school there, but it was a good place to hang. And in the coffee house, and they had folk music in the coffee house, live folk performances by people that traveled um, basically all over the country. Some of my favorite people from back then were John Prine, Steve Goodman. I'm trying to think of something. They had Muddy Waters, Lightning Hopkins. Yeah, a variety, but it was mainly folk and blues. So at any rate, one evening I was there, and I heard from somewhere behind me, Dave Merrick. And I looked back, and there was a blonde, beautiful blonde lady, young lady, which I recognized and said, "Hi, Debbie." And she says, "Can me and my friend come and sit with you?" She was there with another girl that I didn't recognize. And I said, "Of course, come on up." And so they shared my table, and she introduced me to her friend, whose name, because this is half a century ago, I really forgotten. And she said, "Can I ask you a personal question?" And I said, "Well, yeah, go ahead. I'm fine with it." And she said, "Are you gay?" And I said, "No." Um, Why, did somebody say I was gay? She says, "No, but," she says, "all school, you drove us all over the place. You were super nice and super friendly and super sweet and very cute. And she says, "Why didn't you ask any of us or me in particular out?" And I said, "You do realize how you were talking in the back of the station wagon for 4 years about guys that were the gods of my high school." And she said, "Oh, okay." She says, "Well, so you're not gay?" And I said, "No." And she said, "So I'm asking you out right now." And I accepted, and we dated for about half a year. It was very nice, and I learned not to put too much stock in things I hear when a bunch of girls are talking about guys, because I'm not terribly sure that the information they were trading was really, let's say, accurate of how they really felt. I knew some of those guys, although I certainly didn't move in their circles, but some of them were really nice dudes, especially if you got them alone and out of that jock crowd, shall I say. And some of them were pretty smart, and which I was surprised to find out after a while, because my sister started dating some of them, obviously. Anywho, just thought it was an interesting story. Have a great day. Thanks for listening.